It is your Classic Metal Show right here on your ClassicMetalShow.com. That's Doro right here on the Classic Metal Show by request from our good friend Joe Freelance, coming back from the Doro Sister Sin show.
There you go. Good for him.
Yeah, he went out there and checked out the show. So looks like several of our fans are looking forward to that tour. Motley Moni private messaged me in the chat room. She said she's going to fly out to Phoenix to go catch that show.
Wow. Why doesn't she fly out to Chicago and catch it with you?
Well, she might have to fly out to the Cleveland area and come to the fan show.
Yeah, well, hey.
At your house.
You know damn well, any of the ladies that listen to the show, they are welcome to the fan show.
Right. The live fan show.
That's right. The live fan show, I encourage all ladies to come to.
Sure.
And for all you guys that want to come, no. Not invited.
Well, I don't know if that's totally true, is it?
Yes.
No guys allowed?
Me and you.
And all the girls.
And all the girls.
All right.
You know, we got to keep the numbers low so that we can't get trumped.
Right.
That'll suck if I have them here and I spend a bunch of money on food and drinks and stuff, and then somebody else is spending time with them.
or none of them show up and it's all dudes.
Yeah, it's me staring at you and you staring at me.
Yeah. Or it'll be like your Super Bowl party tomorrow.
Why? What's wrong with my Super Bowl party tomorrow?
Nothing's wrong with your Super Bowl. It'll just end up being all dudes.
No, tomorrow's not going to be.
Well, let's hope not.
Tomorrow, allegedly, there's quite a few ladies coming.
Allegedly.
Well, in a way, I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't play out that way, to be honest. Because I've definitely done the uncomfortable inviting more than one that I've banged.
Wow. Yeah, that is no good.
I accidentally sort of did that, so yeah, that might not turn out well.
I'm going to tell you a story.
All right.
It's going to be story time with Sir
Spannerman, J.S. Neeley.
With me, yes. Being at Super Bowl and all.
All right.
All right. So this was years ago. This was back in I think it was like 89 or 90.
Okay.
Okay. I was living in California. I started dating this one girl, just kind of dating her. It wasn't real serious or anything, but, you know, we went out.
Yeah.
And, you know, we did bang.
All right.
Okay. But I had met this other girl months ahead of time.
Okay.
But I didn't really know her that well, but the first time I ever met her, I was just like completely smitten with her.
Okay, cool.
So I met her like in, I think it was like May.
Yeah.
And she was a friend of a friend.
Okay.
And she was older than me. She was about 6 years older. And I saw her twice. I used to work at a club, and a good friend of mine had come in there, and he was with this girl, and I just assumed it was his girlfriend.
Right.
But they were just friends from high school.
Right.
You know, because I was just like, who's your girlfriend? You know, like, oh, she's not my girlfriend, dude. She's just a friend from high school. You know, I knew her from high school.
Sure.
So I was just like, wow, you know, so what's her story? You know, he's like, oh, you know, she's just hanging out. She just, you know, I said, she's like, seeing anybody? I don't know. I don't keep up with all that, you know.
Right.
So she came in the next week, and I just kind of struck up a conversation with her, and, you know, I dug this chick.
Right, sure.
Well, then I didn't see her anymore through the whole summer. She didn't come in.
Because you didn't want to, or just because?
No. I didn't get her number or anything. It's just that, you know, it was just one of those, hi, how you doing? You know, it's good to meet you type thing.
Okay.
And then she didn't come to the club anymore all summer. I didn't really know that much about her. I didn't know where she lived or didn't get her phone number or nothing. So, you know, when her friend would come in, I would say, hey, you know, what's up with, you know, her? And I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while. She's around, you know, whatever.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, if you happen to see her, let her know I said, hey, and what's going on.
All right.
Well, during this time, I started going out with this chick, right?
Okay.
And, we were going out and, having a good time, going to concerts and stuff. Well, this other girl that I had met earlier in the year, she just showed up out of the blue one day.
Okay.
Asking for me,
Huh.
And I was just like, I wasn't at the club at the time. The owner of the club said, "Hey, there was this girl looking for you." And I said, "Oh, really?" And she goes, "Yeah, this girl by the name of, whatever."
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, I know her." And she said, "Yeah, she was here looking for you tonight." I said, "Did she say what she wanted?" "No, but she left her number and, she asked me to have you call her and whatever." And I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
So, I called this girl and say, "Hey, what's up?" And she's just like, "Oh, I was thinking about you and I thought I'd stop in and say hello because I knew you were there. And, the owner said you weren't there tonight. And so I just left my number." And, it just was one of those, "Hey, what's happening?" type thing,
Yeah, sure.
So during that time, I found out some things about the girl that I was going out with that I wasn't real comfortable with.
All right. She was banging dogs?
No. It was drug related.
Oh, nice.
I wasn't real keen on that. I was
Hey, you ain't going to let that happen in your world.
Right. So I'd found out that she was dealing.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And it was just like, oh, this isn't good.
No.
So I was distancing myself from that situation.
Okay.
And it got into winter time. It got to be around December or so. And that girl, the one that was dealing, she announced to me that she was moving out of the area and she was going to move to Northern California.
This is when you were living in Cali?
Yes.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, cool. This kind of like lets me off the hook. I don't have to sit there and be the heartbreaker guy and tell her, I don't want to see you anymore, even though that's where it was going.
Right. Okay.
So as a lot of girls do, they oftentimes they can't accept the rejection part because I was getting distanced from her.
Okay.
And she knew it, and she was just trying to figure out what it is that she had to do to get my attention.
And so she was dealing, or that was just part of...
No. She didn't know that I knew what she was doing.
Okay.
She didn't know that I knew, but I had found out and got confirmation from somebody, and so I was just sort of trying to back out of the picture.
Right.
And then this other girl came into the picture, which gave me more of a reason to back out of the picture because I really dug this other chick a lot.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay. So it got down to the point to where the one found out about the other.
Okay.
Like the one who was dealing found out that I had interest in this other girl, and she thought that was the reason why I was not having interest in her anymore. Which was partially true, but
Yeah.
it was the whole dealing thing that really was a deal breaker for me.
Sure.
Okay. But
Okay.
she didn't know that I knew about that.
Right.
Okay. So she started coming around. She was leaving right after New Year's. She was leaving, or actually I think it was like the first part of February, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, she was trying to, I don't know, win back my affection per se.
Okay.
And I wasn't going for it.
No, because you wanted to get away from her in the first place for two reasons.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sure.
So it got down to the point to where, for whatever reason, I think she was running from somebody, to be honest with you. I think that she owed somebody some money or something.
Yeah.
So I think she was going to split.
Okay.
She was going to take off because it was really abrupt. She just announced that, oh, by the way, I'm moving to Northern California.
All right. See ya.
just out of the blue, right? Just like that.
Right.
So I was just like, oh, okay, well, I didn't say anything. I just was like, oh, okay, well, oh, well, my aunt and uncle live up there. I'm moving up there, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, good luck to you,
Right.
Well, for whatever reason, she wanted to make this last-ditch effort or play for me, and so she started coming around and getting as for lack of a better term, provocative as she could possibly be.
All right.
Dressing up as slutty as she could be, making herself easily accessible as she could be.
Right.
Just sort of making that last-ditch effort to get my attention.
Just giving you the whore thing.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's what it boiled down to.
Sure.
Well, I was totally, smitten by this other girl at this time.
Okay.
So I wasn't going for it.
Yeah.
So it was Super Bowl Sunday.
All right.
I think it was Super Bowl Sunday of 1990, I think.
Okay.
It was either 89 or 90. I don't remember. But so this club that I worked at, the owners owned 2 club locations. And Monday Night Football and Super Bowl was a big deal at the club, and they would always put out this big spread at the club.
Sure.
So the girl that I was really interested in, her friend, the one who introduced me to her to begin with, owned a Mexican restaurant. And he catered a lot of the food for these Super Bowl parties for the club.
Sounds good.
So the girl that I was interested in, was helping me get some of the food from the restaurant and bring it to the club and get it all set up and set up tables and, all this stuff,
The standard getting the place ready for the day.
Exactly.
Sure.
So I was at the club early and helping set up and get the food there and get all the stuff set up for Super Bowl Sunday. So it was getting later in the evening, and by this time I was kind of tired out and whatever. And so it was halftime at the club, and I was there with the girl that I liked.
Yeah.
And literally I was just tired. I was just tired, and I was just like, I think I'm just going to head home. I'm just kind of beat.
Sure.
So I headed home, and I got home, and I get a phone call. Mm-hmm. And it's the other girl.
Okay.
And this is the eve before she's going to head out of town.
Okay.
Okay. So she's got a moving truck packed up, and she's going to head out of town. So she calls me up, and she says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, nothing. I was just kind of, I was kind of tired. I just got home. I was kind of taking a rest." Mm-hmm. She's just like, "Well, I kind of wanted to see you before I left. Would it be cool if I came over?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, sure, fine. Come on over." So she came over, and I said, I'm a little tired. I'm going to take a nap here on the couch. And she goes, "Well, I got to get my address book all updated and everything. You don't mind if I sit here at your table and do this?" I said, "No, not at all." So just kind of laying there taking a nap. She was sitting there at my kitchen table and just doing her stuff or whatever. And so it's still early in the evening. It's like 7, 8 o'clock.
Sure.
So I took a little nap, and I woke up, and she's just like, "So, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, nothing. I'm just kind of hanging out." She says, "Well, I was going to go over to the club and hang out over there and do this and that." I said, "Well," she goes, "You want to go with me?" And I was just like, "No, not really." I said, "I'm just going to stay home. I'm not going to do anything."
Okay.
So she goes, "Okay, well, I'm going to stop by your work tomorrow on my way out of town just to see you before I leave, right?"
Sure.
I said, "Okay, fine." And so she leaves. She leaves. Nothing going on. Nothing weird. Nothing strange.
All right. Why do I think this is going to end with a crash landing here any second?
Well, it's going to be a crash landing.
Okay.
So I don't know. By this time, it's like 9 o'clock at night. And so go to bed. I'm in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Go to bed. Phone rings.
Okay.
It's like, okay, so it's the girl that I like. She says, "Well, I'm wrapping things up here at the club. I'm going to head home. You mind if I stop by on my way home?"
Right.
And I said, "No, not at all." So I said, "I'm in bed. The door's open. Come on in."
Sure.
So I'm in bed. She comes over. She comes in the bedroom. She's sitting on the edge of the bed. We're just sitting there shooting the shit.
Right.
And while she's sitting there talking to me, I hear,
oh boy.
It's like, so she looks at me and she's like, "Who's that?" I said, I don't know. So I get up, answer the door. Guess who?
Yeah, it's her, of course.
Uh-huh. So she comes back and she says, I'm sorry to bother you, but when I used your bathroom, I think I left my earrings on your sink. You mind if I look in your sink? To go in your bathroom and look in the sink.
Okay.
Well, my bathroom in the apartment I was living in was right through the bedroom door. Through the bedroom. You had to go through the bedroom to get to the bathroom.
Sure.
So she walks into the bedroom, and there's the girl sitting on the edge of the bed, and she walks in, and she goes, oh, never mind. And she comes back out of there.
Right.
And she says to me, I thought you said you were going to bed. You didn't tell me you were going to have company over. And I said, I was going to bed. I wasn't expecting anybody. And she said, yeah, well, whatever. And so she stormed out of there.
Okay.
Okay. So I walk into the bedroom. Of course, there's the other one sitting on the bed, arms crossed, looking at me like
What was that?
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like, you fucking asshole. Because, like, I was planning on this girl to show up, right?
Right.
Which was furthest from the truth. I was just going to bed. You know, I had no idea either one of them was just going to show up.
Right.
So the one sees the other, and it's just like, you know, you said you were going to bed. I was. It's like, I didn't know you were having company, and then the other one thought I was inviting the other one over, which was farthest from the truth.
Sure.
And so she gets up and calls me a fucking asshole, storms out the door, slams the door down the sidewalk. The other girl is in the car. The other girl is still in her car. She walks up to the window, raps on the window, and says, you can have the fucking asshole. Gets in her car, squeals out the driveway.
So you two-time lost and you didn't do dick.
I didn't do nothing. So that's what reminds me of Super Bowl. Every year that comes around, that's what I think about.
That is freaking hysterical.
So that happened, 20 some years ago, and I still think about that like it happened yesterday.
Well, I pray I don't have any situation tomorrow because I don't need it.
So
I just don't need it.
So getting back to your comment about two chicks, in the same room. Oh, that's like my worst nightmare.
Yeah. Thanks for planting that in my head.
And Super Bowl Sunday to boot.
Thank you so much for planting that in my head.
So, but the thing is that they knew of one another, and they were like, at one time I was told by both of them pretty much the same story.
Yeah.
That they basically had met at another club in town, and they both had a sit down that, you're not going to have him, he's mine, and blah, blah, blah. And so it became a real rivalry, and then both of them show up at my house at some point, so I'm the asshole,
It's all you. It's all your fault.
Sure. So there you are.
Too funny.
So that's another personal story that you'll have to put on paper for me somewhere down the road.
Oh, yeah. We'll definitely be scribbling that out and fleshing it out with a lot more detail, I'm sure.
Oh, God.
Too funny.
Yep. True story.
It's too funny.
Yep.